morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday morning. I'm coming on to do my makeup because I'm actually running a little ahead of schedule. Who dis? That is not normal for me, but we're going to do some makeup. Is my Seint 3D Cream Foundation. If you want a color match, it is colormatchbysusie.com, and I would be glad to match you. So I'm going to use, this is a 3D brush. I'm going to first go in. I'm going to try to be quick too because I am running a little ahead of schedule. Like actually probably on time. Not even just really ahead, I guess. But normally I'm running late. So today I am not. So I don't want to get on here and dilly-dally and talk too much and then be running late because I went live. So I'm going to try to be quick like a little bunny and put on my makeup so that you guys can see real time how fast this makeup really is. Okay. So that is just a light kind of a wash of contour. I could leave it just like that, but I am going to go in. I'm going to pinch my brush together. I'm going to go in and deepen just a little bit more on my cheekbones. Just a little bit right there at the base of it. So it's kind of a double contour. I've been doing this for a while and I love using two contours because that first one will help with a little bit of coverage on the discolorations that I have on my cheeks. I think I may do just a little bit right here too, not a lot. Okay, so I'm going to do my nose probably last. And then we're going to go in and we're going to do, I'm going to flip over to this end of the brush and I'm going to pop into my main highlight shade, which is Sandy. And then I grab just a smidgen of Athens on that too, just because right here at the base is a little bit lighter as my neck is a little bit lighter than my face. And then I'm going to go in with Sandy for my main shade here, and I'm going to kind of pop this all the way around everywhere that I did not contour. I mean, this is the same old shtick that I give every single time. Nothing new here unless you are new here. It's pretty much the same way that I always do it. Sometimes I change up maybe a brush or something for the most part. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, so I've got that. Now, as you can see right here, how that's kind of patchy looking, I'm going to take my little brush, because this is cream, and I'm just going to swoop it right there. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to swoop it right there, and it just kind of cleans that up, because that's the beauty in creams. And now I'm going to go in, still with this brush, I'm going to go into this brightening shade highlight. This is just a highlight shade. But I'm calling it a brightening highlight because it's brightening for me. Now, some people may wear this as their main shade. You can mix and match these and pick your perfect shade, find your perfect shade, adjust to it. These palettes are customizable to you. That's what I love about it, is you can pick the different sizes, the different designs, whatever your budget is. All that is totally up to you, and I love that. I feel like a good starter pack, you can get just the basics, the Waylon and Willy basics for like $100 and maybe $10, or you can kind of step it up. You can get a little bit more for $125. You can pretty much get though a complete full face, including some eyeshadows, eyeshadow brushes, a couple brushes for like $200, right at $200. That is a steal. Okay, I'm swooping again just because I got a little bit of a brighter shade here. See that on there? And then whatever's left on my brush, I will still take it right here on down. Make sure I got it good. Oh, and then I need to take a little bit of this and pop that right there. Give a little eye lift. This is really good to do after you even have your eyeshadow on because it will clean up if you are messy with your eyeshadows. Don't worry, you can fix everything with cream. You really can. So now I'm popping back over to this little bunny tail side, and I'm going to blend it all out. I like to start with my lighter shades first. And I know I'm going to forget to contour my nose because I always do that first. And then I always have to go back and redo it again because I kind of mess around with it. So I'll probably forget that. But if I do, Is it really a big deal? No. Mine is not a super snatch nose anyway because, number one, I'm not the greatest at it. I just do a little bit, but it would take a lot of contouring to fix this. And then I don't want it to look like I have harsh lines. So I'm always really subtle with it. I'm more subtle than I should be. So my results are not as good as they could be. Because I get scared. Okay. See, we're blending all that out. I've not blended this yet. Sometimes I don't blend my contour the greatest because I'm going to go right over it with a lip and cheek and with a bronzer, and so that blends it out then. But I will try to blend just a little bit. So now I'm going to go up here, press that in, and I'm not just doing swiping motions, I am doing stippling. I can kind of guide that stipple though, so I can kind of press and then up, press, and then press and then push up, press and then push up. I can direct the way that I stipple. So I'm stippling into my hairline. And then I will stipple this in upward motion too. And this is just going to press it, you know, into the skin. Oh, I didn't wet my sponge. Just because I was not going to go live, and I thought, oh my gosh, I actually have a little bit of time. I want to go live. Look at me. Who it is? Okay, so we've got pretty much that blended out good enough, okay? Even though it may not be perfect, which it looks pretty much good enough for me. But if I had missed something, when I go in at the end, I always pounce over my face with this, and it picks up anything that I may have missed. And actually, while we're talking, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spray a little bit of my setting spray onto this sponge. And I'm going to let that soak in so that when I go into pressing a little bit, I'll have that because I didn't wet my sponge. I like to have a little bit of a damp sponge. That's just me. All right, so now we're going to bronze. That's a wild one, didn't curl. We'll tuck that in. All right, so this is Xanadu and this is Bella Bronzer. I like both of these, so I'm going to use both. I love Xanadu. It is a warmer than Bella, because it has the Glow Illuminator mixed in with it. Look how messy I am. That's how my brain is. That's exactly the vision of my brain. If you want to know what my brain looks like, it's like that. All kinds of a mess. Alright. And you don't have to worry about putting on too much of this. Just barely dot it. And you can go back and add more. I mean, I have my brush pretty much good and loaded now, just to be honest. And I'm still tapping into it. Tapping into both of those. So we do that. And then I like to also go over just a little bit over that area. Not a lot. Not enough to even matter. And then I will take what's left and drag it down. And I am just lightly touching my neck. Because if you just touch too hard in one spot, that's where you're going to leave the most product. So just barely grazing along the neckline. Will be just fine. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to blend it even better. Blend it out. Look at that. I mean, all of a sudden, it's like your whole face comes to life. Like with my brightening right here, I can't, it's hard for me to blend in too much when I already have my mascara on. So I only blend up so much. But when I go in with my sponge, I'll get closer there in my powder and I'll take care of that. It is such a beautiful glowy finish. And it just makes your skin look perfect. All right, so now I'm going to go in with, I'm going to do my nose contour because I already had forgot to do that. So I'm going to take this color right here, which was olive. It's on my finger like that. And I'm going to rub it together, warms it up. And then See how that is? And then I'm going to take it right here. And I'm making almost like a little TP, like a little triangle right here on my nose. And then I'm just going to come down. And as you can see, there is just a small line right there that I did not get in the middle. It leaves a little trail. And then I'm going to use my brush. And some people, when you start touching your nose, I'm going to go over a little bit of brightening in the middle. Some people, when you touch your nose, it will get red. Because it's so thin. That skin is so thin on your nose. Well, then you start trying to cover that redness that you're creating as you're touching it. So sometimes it's a good idea to go ahead and take care of your nose. Step back, assess the situation, give it a few minutes to calm down, and then you'll see sometimes you don't need to do much coverage, because if you're not careful, you'll put too much on. Spoken from experience right here. All right. So we got that done. Does it look phenomenal? No. But maybe a little better than what it was. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my shade. I don't know what color I want to wear today. I'm kind of feeling a little more pinky than normally I do rosewood, and I think rosewood would look amazing with this, and I want to do rosewood. I always do rosewood, so we're going to maybe do Madrid. It's a pretty pinky peach. So I'm going to bounce that right there along the area where I contoured and bronzed. They kind of all marry together. Oh, look how pretty that is. Okay. I think that is going to be good enough. Now, one of the last things that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sponge that I just soaked the very tip of it with my setting spray. I have a paper towel here, so I'm going to squeeze it out in there because it's wet. And if it's too wet, it'll take off product. You want it barely damp so that it will only pick up a little excess. And you can tell right there, see those? That's where it starts swelling up. That's where it's absorbed the liquid. So now we're going to go in and I'm going to pounce really slightly along the eye area because I don't want to pick up anything. I just want to blend it a little better. And then I'll go around this way and this way and this way. A lot of people are intimidated by this makeup, but it's like mapping out your face. And honestly, everybody's face is just about the same. I mean, there's a few people that, may not have two eyes. They may have, one eye, but they're still in two places. Typically, the nose and the mouth, those are normal places for people to have on their face. So you map out kind of the same way, and then you learn to play with the way that it looks the best on you. Some people may want to put their contour a little higher. They'll put it on and they'll be like, oh, I don't really like that. I've seen everybody do it this way. Let me try it this way. And they may lower it and it work best for them. So you play with what works best for you. You start off learning by watching what you see everybody do. And then you take it and you make it your own. Because even though everyone's face is typically about the same, there's still different structures, and there's different things that some people may say, I love for my nose to be wide, or I want a wide nose. And so you would do a little bit different techniques, but you just kind of play with what works best for you. Okay, so I've got that all, but I feel like blended in right nicely. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of powdering, and I'm going to use this feather blotting dust that we have that is really good under the eyes. The first time that I used it, I was like, is it as great as what everybody says? No, but it's still good. That was my first impression. It feels really neat, but because it's just kind of almost like this wettish powder, but it's not wet. So that was my first impression. But then I was like, I'm going to give it the old heave-ho teen try. And I love it because I feel like it does not pick up or show up any extra texture under my eyes. It just doesn't. It's just barely there. And I will go all the way up under each side. It has a slight sheen to it too. And then I will do just a little here in my smile lines. I don't do my pores because I feel like it does accentuate my pores, even though it has this blurring whatever in it. I do like our vanilla dust for that, so I will use that. Now, if I'm extremely oily and I need, something other than just a pressed powder, then I would go in with a loose powder, and that will work. Anyway, there you go. Good morning, happy Sunday. Okay. Your contour is hard to blend. There's two things you can do. Amanda, do you use it on your face with your fingers or do you use it with a brush? Because especially if you keep it in a cooler room, the contours are naturally a stiffer formula, so they're going to be they're not going to be as buttery to blend as the other ones. But now if they set on your face, which is one of the reasons that I like to do my contour first, is because I like for it to set on my face because it's got a little bit of that beeswax in it that's going to make it warm up and be a lot more blendable. So I will do that. If you use your fingers, sometimes that'll warm it up good. I don't like to really apply with my fingers. Most of the time, I will use a brush. But if you find that your contour is not easy to apply, I would take a candle warmer or put it on a stovetop, like in a pan, for just a few seconds. Let it sit there. You don't have to do high heat. Do a low heat. When it starts looking like it's melty, get you a toothpick. Kind of stir it around. Sometimes we get junk and gunk from our brushes because my brushes set out for the most part, and so they collect dust and hair and anything else. You put that into your makeup sometimes. We just do. We can't help it. So you can stir it around. If you see any clumps, get those out. That's a great time to clean it out. And then remove it from that stove eye or a candle warmer, whatever you're doing. If you do a candle warmer, do some tweezers, but be careful because if you spill it, it's gone. It's gone. I've done that. I've spilt it. And then remove it over there and let it harden up. It only takes 5 minutes or so, but I would let it set up for a little bit, and then whenever you start to use it, it will be completely a different. I'm not going to say consistency because it's still hard, but it will be so much easier and so much more creamy than it was to start with. It still hardens up, and it still will over time. It still over time will, harden up again too. But the more that I use it, which I use my stuff every day, I don't feel like have a chance to get too hard. But anyway, so I hope that helps. Let me know if it doesn't, Amanda. If it don't, just send me a message and we'll work on something else. Anyway, happy Sunday. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Today is the day that the Lord has made. So we're going to rejoice and be glad in it. I hope you have a great day and a great week. And thank you for watching.